throw a rock, and then they just like kind of rushed him. The one kid like pushed him. I don't know if he pushed or punched him, but he like kind of like stumbled, and that's when the other kid pulled out the gun. And
like Safeway?
Safeway.
That's Safeway. Okay, I get mixed up with Smith's and Safeway. There's some people that live in that back lot over there, and my whole thing is I was trying to get a landscaping deal started, and what I was doing is I was going around town trying to find homeless people that may want to help me with that.
Okay.
So initially, landscaping. So I got some people involved. They were all smoking, shooting up. They were doing all kinds of drugs, and I just figured, I need to remove myself from the situation. In doing so, with me having to remove myself from the situation, one of the guys got up and started calling me rocks, and then he kicked over a lady that I know very well. Her name, we call her Mom. He kicked over her thing. Then he started picking up rocks and throwing it at me, and first of all, I should have been holding my gun like that instead of like that, because that makes it look very bad. But I just told him, you need to leave now, because he started, and the whole thing is I wasn't trying to hold him up. I wasn't trying to freak him out. I was just trying to get him to stop, but he was high on drugs, so he kept picking up rocks and throwing them at me. So as soon as that rock hit me in the back of the head, I felt fear for my life. And that was an instant when I tried to go for his kneecaps to get him to go down, and I was going to call dispatch. But then what ended up happening is I shot him, and then he got up, and then he started saying he has a gun, and then he started reaching for something, and that was in the instant where I just unloaded on him. And I would have never done anything like that.
Let's kind of slow down. I know you're giving a lot of information, which is what I definitely need.
Okay, you need me to go slower.
Yeah, so what's your girlfriend's name?
My girlfriend's name is Mackenzie, but my girlfriend's name is Mackenzie. I'm just very stressed out. Mackenzie.
What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to identify people who were present, right?
Present, okay.
That way we can go around them up.
It's probably the worst thing. So come on, let's go home. So of course, in my mind, a flight or fight response kicked in, and I felt like, okay, it's time to leave then. But then again, we should have stayed at the scene as it was, and then we could have handled it there instead. And then, it probably would have made the case look a lot better than it's looking right now. Because fleeing from the scene is a bad idea. And I know that because I'm working on my GED to become part of Farmington PD, but I don't know how that's going to look now.
So who was present?
Brandon as the aggressor and justifies his own reaction. Interestingly, his claim of Brandon throwing rocks at him first was confirmed by a few witness accounts, which makes the story he's trying to paint somewhat believable. But as the evidence starts lining up, his version of events begins to show some serious cracks.
Here's a marker. Let's do this. So here is this huge building complex. You got Best Buy, Petco, that clothing store, and then Safeway.
Okay.
And then we have
Leaving, I should have stayed at the scene, period. I just didn't know how in the hell to handle it,
Sure.
So then he started he was already on the ground. I should have let him be, but then I unloaded my magazine. I didn't know what to do.
Okay.
I had no intentions to hurt him. I had no intentions to do anything to him. I did not know who the individual was. I just knew that he was being crazy. He was kicking stuff around. He's throwing rocks. Honestly, if I had an air taser on me, it would have been better, but obviously I'm not a police officer, so I don't have anything like that. OC, nothing. I did not handle it in a proper way, so, I feel like I'm going to be going to prison now because of the way that I handled that situation. I just wish that none of this ever happened because I'm not trying to hurt any weapons out when I was dodging them.
Okay.
Did not have any recollection of wanting to shoot him, okay? So I put my hand down, and I was just taking the hits in the back of the head. And of course, that's whenever I went and I aimed for his kneecaps. Boom, boom, 2 shots. He was already down. I should have left it at that. And then that's, of course, when I felt like he's going to reach for something, he's going to stand up. You understand what I'm trying to tell you? Try to chase after me, or Nick, we're younger than him. I can imagine probably has more strength than us. So then, basically, he was already down, and then I shot him a good couple times. I don't know where the bullets went. They probably went directly into center mass. And like I said, my gun hopped around because I was aiming for his legs.
What happened right after you shot? What did you guys do?
We ran.
Okay.
Fight or flight response. Should have stayed at the scene. I wish I stayed at the scene because that just looks terrible. I wasn't planning to leave. My whole thing was to go and find a place to recuperate, not flee. I wanted to find out if he was okay. I wasn't going to flee the scene because I did not want to be on the run.